Just a second here.
Good evening. It is 5:40. If we can start by the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda Item C, roll call. Commissioner Member Holloway,
Present.
Commissioner Member Smith, Commissioner Member Bauer,
Present.
Commissioner Member Gonzalez, Commissioner Member Abong, Commissioner Member Lewis,
Present.
Chair Huitron.
Present.
Chair, I would like to remind the audience that if they wish to address the commission, they must submit a green request to speak form located at the podium in the back of the council chamber. Citizens can submit public comment to the commission electronically no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments received before the deadline will be sent to the commission and will be part of the record and will be mentioned as part of the public comment portion of the agenda. Material may be emailed to recreation@cityofmerced.gov and should be limited to 300 words or less. Any correspondence received after 1 p.m. will be distributed to the commission and retained for the official record. Agenda Item D, Public Comment. Members of the public who wish to speak on any matter not listed on the agenda may speak during this portion of the meeting and will be allotted 3 minutes. State law prohibits the commission from acting at this meeting on any matter raised during the public comment period. Members of the public who wish to speak on any matter that is listed on the agenda will be called upon to speak during the discussion of that item. Chair, we don't have any requests for members of the public to speak today. Agenda Item E, Consent Calendar. Agenda Item E1, Approval and filing of Recreation and Park Commission minutes of September 22nd, 2025.
Okay, for the minutes, do we have a first,
I motion to approve the minutes.
second?
I second.
We have a first and second? And, go ahead. Cast your vote, if we haven't yet.
Motion passes unanimously.
Who was the missing vote?
Mine,
Ms. Lewis?
but I
Okay.
pushed yes.
We'll just, the computers might be assigned wrong, so we'll work with IT on that, but for the record, Marissa Lewis voted yes to adopt the minutes. We'll get that addressed next month.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Now, Agenda Item F, Reports. Agenda Item F1, Parks and Commission Services Updates.
While we're getting that ready, good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chair, and public. I'm Christopher Jensen, Parks and Community Services Director. I'm here before you this evening to give an update on our department for the month of October. We've had a very busy month, and one of the things that helps when we're very busy is having staff. A couple of years ago, we lost our recreation field and facility worker, who had a lot of really great things going on in preparing and managing our fields for tournaments and also recreation play across the city. This summer, we were able to open that position back up for recruitment, and earlier this month, we selected Mr. Frank Solis as our new rec field and facility worker. Frank is the lead in this position, so he'll be overseeing 2 part-time staff to prepare our fields and facilities for recreation and competitive use. We will be opening up one of the 2 part-time positions later this month in preparation for CP42 coming online later this year. Frank has a background in field and facility maintenance. He comes to us from the school district up the hill in Mariposa, where he prepared their soccer fields, football fields, baseball and softball fields. He's also, I believe, actively still to this day a coach at Merced College for their football program. And so what really sold Frank for our department was not only his experience maintaining fields and facilities, but also having the insight as an athlete and a coach of what those fields and facilities should look like and feel like, as opposed to maybe a general park. So happy to have him with us, and hopefully it's for years to come. A budget update. Earlier this month, our department was recognized as one of 30 municipalities or agencies to be awarded the California Arts and Parks Grant. It's a $77,000 grant that will help us build the Vang Pao Memorial at General Vang Pao Park later this year. This has been a significant undertaking designing this memorial. We've worked extensively with our Hmong elders, who not only petitioned the city to name the park site after this historical figure in their community, but also who has been a mainstay stakeholder group to ensure that the memorial was significant, not just for our community, but for their culture worldwide. So happy to bring this vision to life alongside that group. Also want to give a thanks to the MAC, the Merced Arts and Culture Commission, or excuse me, the Merced Art and Culture Center behind us here on Main Street. They submitted a letter of recommendation for this project. The department received authorization from Merced County, who's one of our JPA partners, our Joint Power Authority partners for CP42. The county allocated a $1.5 million contract to us to entitle and annex and site plan the approximate 40 acres north of CP42 that we're building now, which would make this complex almost 80 acres in total of sports fields and facilities. Unfortunately, there is a significant amount of engineering that has to take place in order to accommodate the drainage, the irrigation, et cetera, that's required for the north parcel. And so we asked the county if we could have authorization to use some of their funding on the south portion that's actively under construction now, which they gave us the approval for over the past couple of months in speaking with their board members. We are currently in contract through a memorandum of understanding, which lasts through December 31st of this calendar year. And we're probably not going to be able to expend all of those funds by that time. These are American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds that the county allocated. So technically the county has some additional time that we could utilize to spend down all those dollars. So we're gonna be asking for that later this month. Some of the things that we'll be asking to contribute that funding towards are a 5th field, so going from 4 fields at CP42 to 5 fields, additional lighting for our courts, which would be pickleball courts, basketball courts, and futsal courts, and potentially a secondary restroom. We are still determining what out of those expenses can be afforded with the allocation from the county. And once those decisions are made, we'll bring those back to you for your review. A little bit about community giving. We've been very honored and humbled to have community partners on a routine basis reaching out to us to see how they can give back to the Parks and Community Services Department. This month, we were honored to partner with Summit Church, which is a faith-based organization in town who had about 100 volunteers that they wanted to put to work on a Sunday in sprucing up our parks. And so they spread a significant amount of material in our flower beds across 3 to 4 different parks. They also unloaded a ton of pumpkins. I think we lost count after the second truckload. Jocelyn, I don't know if you remember how many we brought in over that week, but we had a ton of pumpkins delivered to the zoo. And the zoo was open all weekend this weekend, and it looked phenomenal thanks to Summit Church volunteers that came out and helped set up the photo area, the exhibit displays, et cetera. So big thank you to that organization. And then just this last Sunday, the flyer on the top left there was a McNamara Park community event. We supply fields for primarily 2 soccer clubs in town, Merced United, Merced Youth Soccer Association, and Merced Albion SC. Both use our fields and facilities pretty routinely, and Albion had the idea to approach Lowe's about a give back opportunity to overseed our grass field, which if you're using grass year round, it tends to take a beating. And so we were granted a $2,000 donation from Lowe's, which was over 400 pounds of winter seed mix. And we worked with the landfill to acquire 20 yards of compost. And we worked with about 32 volunteers yesterday over the period of a few hours to spread all the compost over the seed. And our public works team, a shout out to the parks division over there, they aerated the entire field for us on Thursday. So definitely a community-wide effort, and we're hoping for some great grass this winter. I wanted to bring to the commission's attention, because we do have several new members on the commission. Our organization, as well as a vast majority of agencies throughout the state of California that provide park or recreation services, are supported not only through relationships, but also technical assistance, training, and capacity building to advance the field of parks and community services, or parks and recreation. The agency that's responsible for that is California Parks and Recreation Society, or CPRS. This is an organization that hosts expositions, they host trainings, they have different regions and sections in which the training and opportunities are provided to parties that are interested in the field of parks and recreation. In the map there on the top right, you will see a bunch of R's and D's with numbers next to them. The R's represent the region of the state that each D for district belong to. So we in the city of Merced are part of D5 and Region 2, which spans from the Sierras over to the Bay Area. And there's several sections throughout CPRS that are administered to support different arenas or sections of park and recreation. And we'll go over a little bit about that today. Just some background. I've been here for going on 5 years now, and every year we try to attend the CPRS conference. It's a conference that extends connections for us as staff. It provides training, workshops, and then there's some introduction and exposure to different professional development series or sections that are offered outside of the conference as well. One of the things that came about from this year's, or the past couple of years now, was linkages with contractors that provide a variety of park planning, playground equipment, designs, et cetera. And so when we put things out to bid, we have a pretty good idea of who's in the business, how well their products are used, people we can use to reference, did they do a good job on your parks, et cetera. So what you see here on the top left was actually a recent event that our district held. It was a murder mystery dinner, and it was a training to teach staff how to host a murder mystery in your own community. And so that's something that we took part in. We were the best dressed city there by far. I think Jocelyn and I got murdered immediately, but we had a really good time, and shout out to Lathrop. Their staff put this on and did a fantastic job. But it really goes to speak to the social support that we get as members of CPRS, learning about what's going on in the industry and staying on top of our game. On the bottom there, that is a piece of equipment from a specific vendor. We didn't end up going with this vendor, but we just installed this week. I just saw it on my way back to town today. This very similar layout of a rocker at CP42, the sports complex that's under development. One of the things that was a selling point for this equipment for us was that in an inclusive, focused playground, it supplies full body support for young people and their parents that may have issues with stability on a traditional teeter-totter. So it's a whole different experience in this equipment. So that's another piece of exposure that lends itself to participating in CPRS, is what's out there to include in your parks. And on the right, very proud, this goes back to the General Vang Pao Park. We were actually showcased by Milton Design Group at the expo in Sacramento. And this exact design is what was awarded earlier this month through California Arts and Parks grant opportunity. So the exposure to what we're doing, who we're working with to accomplish it, et cetera, it actually pays for itself down the road. So really happy to have that opportunity before us each year. One area that's relatively new, or maybe it's a full circle arena, is advocacy. Part of your role as commissioners is really being the eyes and ears, not only for our department, but for the residents that you serve, in advocating for what you want to see in parks and community services, and to the city, what you want to see as far as support for our staff. We can't do this alone. It requires your partnership, your buy-in, your support. And one of the things that CPRS is doing now is lending that capacity building, that social connection to commissioners and stakeholders in different communities that are on the advocacy lens of parks and community services. And so we're really lucky this evening. We ended up connecting with Mr. Steve earlier at the last CPRS. I think we were in a workshop or something together, and we found out we were both in Merced, and he happens to be, I believe, one of the chairs for the advocacy section of CPRS right now. So we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to invite Steve up and give our commission a couple of comments about what this opportunity means, not only for you as commissioners, but also for any stakeholders in the community or audience that may want to take advantage of this opportunity at California Parks and Rec Society.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair and Director, for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm the new section president of the advocacy section. It's the first new section that CPRS has created in the last 40 plus years. So we're doing things one step at a time. And so the list that you see on the screen is committees that we need help in. Those committees have staff people in them, but they don't have the commissioners represented. The job of a commissioner is, I'll tell you, in my old experience, is you need to be the cheerleader for the department, for the staff, for the director, and be willing to talk to the city council about what it is that the city needs through your council members. We are an arm of CPRS that were created from a previous commission that was just a commissioners and board members commission. Now we are joining with the advocacy section, being partners with the professionals. One of the things that we do is we do trainings, and one of the things that will start in January is you'll be able to get on a phone call with us for legislative updates. We will talk about the legislation. We'll talk about whether or not we want you to oppose it or support it, and then we'll give you the reasons why to take to your council. Excuse me. The committees are the way that we're going to create the manual, if you will, for this section. All the other sections have handbooks and all the things that they can do because they've been doing it for so long. We're the new kids on the block. And so I have the privilege of being the inaugural president. And we would love very much for your commission members to join our section. You do that through your director. And then if you want to join one of those committees, you can have a voice in how we create this. It's our intent to advocate from the local level. So that would be in your city, in your county, and then in Sacramento. And so your role as commissioners is very important to us in the advocacy section because we are representing you. And what better way for us to represent you than to have you on the commission, on the advocacy section with us. So your director has my contact information. I am a resident of Merced, and I'm glad to meet with you. We offer trainings. If your director desires, if we do a training, we invite you to have your sister cities attend. The training is usually held on a Saturday and takes about 4 hours. I served 12 years as an elected official in the Park and Rec side on a special district. And so you are either a commissioner as an appointed member for your staff, for your city, or you're an elected official as a board member for a special district. Those people now have representation in CPRS for the first time under this advocacy section. So, any questions? All right, thank you very much for having me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So what we'll do is, at the end of this evening, if there's any commissioners, that part there was just an update on what this opportunity is. If there's anyone on the commission that would like to learn more about the advocacy section, we could bring it back for you next month and have you adopt a motion to either bring a training here, learn more about that in a specific report. Tonight was just for info only. Couple of program updates. We have the Merced Applegate Zoo Zoo Boo, which took place this weekend. We want to give a thanks to Merced County First Five, who supported us again. Friday night was completely free for Tiny 0 to 5. We had a great turnout. I'm not exactly sure how many were able to attend yesterday, but between Friday and Saturday, we were at almost just over $6,000 that we brought in over the 2 evenings. So also, as you can see, a lot of time and attention goes into creating decorations for the kids and adults. Some of us like to enjoy these as well. And we have everything from dinosaurs and zoo animals to superheroes. And we have hissing cockroaches on display, and I think a boa constrictor, things that usually we take out for like critter speaking engagements with schools and things like that. So staff do a fantastic job. They really get into it. And I know we have several organizations that volunteer their time to help either decorate the zoo, give towards the decorations, or show up and actually help supply the service over the few days that we're open for Zoo Boo. Last month, we had our Gateway to Yosemite 5K. This year's run, this is the third year that we've done this race. This year's run was dedicated as the Race for All, and the proceeds were to go towards the General Vang Pao Monument, or excuse me, the Aletha June Playground at General Vang Pao Park. So it's our second all-inclusive themed playground that's in design right now. The first one is at Community Park 42. currently under construction. General Vang Pao Park Playground, Aletha June Playground at Vang Pao Park. That one is coming to almost completion for design, and I'll give you an update on that in just a few minutes. But we had a fantastic turnout. We actually had to close registration, then we opened it back up because about 70 more people wanted to run with us. So we had over 300 and maybe 350 people register, over 300 people showed up and participated, and we ran through Farrens Park all the way up to Vang Pao Park actually was the 10K. So for those fun runners that like to run 10 kilometers, they got to actually run around the park that the playground's being built at. So that was a really nice connection there. On the top right, we just hosted our Halloween adult softball tournament, and we raised several pounds of candy, and all of that candy goes towards the Littles treats that come in for Zubu. So we have the softball tournament. The proceeds from that are not monetary, they are candy, and the candy goes towards supplying the zoo the refreshments for their event. On the bottom right here, a very touching photo that we were able to capture of Councilman Ronnie DeAnda. I'm not sure if anyone on the commission was able to watch our most recent council meeting. During closing comments, Ronnie announced his resignation. He's having to step down due to some health concerns for him and his wife. And so I just want to personally thank Mr. DeAnda for his leadership in District 2. This photo represents a significant undertaking that he really championed with the family of Joe Cortez, who was a longtime police officer and also city councilman that really advocated for public safety and youth services in South Merced. And so the city rededicated the South Merced Police Station after Commander Joe Cortez, and Ronnie DeAnda championed that effort and was able to see that come to fruition before his resignation. So I want to thank Councilman DeAnda again for his ongoing support. Okay, some updates on the capital improvement project. So I mentioned the American Rescue Plan Act a little while ago. The city of Merced allocated a lot of that ARPA money towards parks and community services. Specifically, we have a zoo design build project under review right now. The plans for this effort are being reviewed by our building inspector right now as we speak, and comments are going back and forth between the contractor and our building department. The big goal out of this $1.8 million renovation is to add ADA access into our gift shop. Right now, we do not have that. We also want to make sure we have new flat work to support easy access around our venue. Right now, we have old asphalt that's buckled because of tree growth, root intrusion, etc. So we're going to add concrete around the entire facility to replace the old asphalt. And then this is really kind of the gem of the effort, is to get a new home for our 2 American black bears there at Merced Applegate Zoo. Once the plans are approved, we will bring to you a review more than likely in December, if not January. Excuse me, yeah, we do need to talk about November and December's meetings just because where they align for this commission. More than likely January, we'll bring you a report. We are hoping to start construction next month, as long as the plan review goes smoothly. Here's an update on Community Park 42. This is a 5,000 square foot shade structure. As far as we know, it's the biggest in the county. It is a beautiful amenity there at CP 42. It's housing 18 picnic tables underneath it, which will be reservable for community events there at the sports complex. It's right in between our all-inclusive playground and our concession stand. So whether you're sitting, watching your littles run around, enjoying themselves, or having a bite to eat, you'll have some great shade. Not everybody enjoys shade, believe it or not, even in the Central Valley summer heat. And so we did leave some spotted outside of the shade structure there in front of the playground as well. Bob Hart Square is underway. There's been some press out and about through different news outlets around Bob Hart Square. But for the most part, the information that isn't being covered is that there's a lot of excitement about Bob Hart Square. This is a big undertaking for us. A lot of the delays were due to underground infrastructure that had to be replaced because we already had Main Street open. So while Bob Hart Square has been open for a significant period of time, a lot of that exposure and limited access to the businesses in the downtown area was due to replacing water mains that are 80 years old and gonna collapse if we didn't replace them. So it was necessary to do a lot of the infrastructure improvements underground since we had the streets opened up. And so we do acknowledge that the inconvenience is real for our downtown businesses, and we also acknowledge the amount of business that we hope this specific amenity brings to our downtown area for those vendors. We will be going to council, I believe sometime in November, to ask to adopt a fee schedule for Bob Hart Square. What you see here is just a rough rendering of the plaza portion of the square. So this is looking from the old Bob Hart Square out towards 16th Street. So we have a stage that is facing the plaza that will be reservable for events in downtown. And we're gonna be working through some recommendations with council next month to adopt a fee schedule, a reservation system, and a list of city co-sponsored events. And we'll bring a report back to you once that's adopted by council. Really excited about this project as well. That's a good idea. That's a good point. General Vang Pao Park. This is another project that we have underway. On the top right, you can see some of the playground amenities that have been ordered. Just for your recollection, we were granted about $700,000 in First Five funding 2 years ago to help build our first inclusive playgrounds, one at CP42 and one at Vang Pao Park. This park design is not yet adopted. It is in the 65% stage right now, and we're hoping to move to 85 in the next month. Once that design is approved, we will go out to bid. However, we did have to spend the $700,000 before the design was going to be finalized. And so what we did is we worked with a couple of playground vendors that have recently done playgrounds in the city of Merced. We showed them the footprint of the future playground, and we asked them to come up with their best effort to give us the best playground possible for the money that was allocated. So what you see here is the playground amenities that will be included at Vang Pao Park in Aletha June Playground. What we have is a on-grade hill slide that's triple wide, so it's concrete material that will actually be brought in by a crane and embedded in the hill going down into the rest of the park.
cool.
It's so cool. I can't wait. And you can go down with your children. We will also have a swing set with different canopies and a shaded swing set, which will be the first in Merced. And then we have a ramp style play area for wheelchair accessibility. So we have some fantastic, the designers on this are knocking it out of the park with us. They're doing such a great job. There will be trees all throughout this playground. It won't be the traditional, here's your playground and all the trees and benches are around. Everything is incorporated throughout, so it's almost like a playground in the middle of a forest. It's gonna be a really, really awesome community park when it's said and done. We're hoping for this to go out to bid by the end of this winter and be in construction by summer 2026. High-speed rail update. We were talking before the commission meeting started. Some of our commissioners have been invited and started to participate in the Citizen Advisory Committee, which is a group of commissioners and community stakeholders to help the city with its general plan amendment or update. One of the significant components of that is a downtown station area plan. So when you hear the term station, what we're referring to is the high-speed rail station that will be in Merced. There has been a lot of information going on revolving around high-speed rail probably since it was initially discussed in the 90s. I mean, it doesn't really settle down depending on funding, depending on appropriations, who's in state or federal government seats, the conversation shifts. What I will say is that the California legislature just adopted a $1 billion a year funding allocation through cap and trade to last through 2045. And I believe that that was done in an effort to mitigate some of the concerns that were raised by the current rail authority president about circumventing Merced and going maybe to somewhere along the Bay Area to try to increase revenue sooner rather than later to make the projects more sustainable. That allocation of public funds, even though they're dedicated in the future, could allow the rail authority to leverage those promised allocations to get more building done in the Central Valley sooner rather than later, as intended. There's also state legislature that talks about the Merced to Bakersfield necessity by 2033. There's some specific details from the current CEO of California High-Speed Rail that were given earlier this year. Just for context as well, the High-Speed Rail Authority is not a public entity necessarily. It's a private entity that's taken on a public project. And so that private entity has changed over the years. The current president is overseeing the project and has a very different perspective than former CEOs or presidents have. So just keep in mind that different leads have different opinions about how to make projects successful, get them completed, funded, et cetera. So there's always going to be ongoing discussion until the project's complete, and even then, we'll probably have discussions about what we should have done with the project. And so the city is maintaining its stance that we want to see high-speed rail here. We want to see a station here. We want to see it sooner rather than later. And we want to make sure that we have facilities that are in good repair and open for the community's use, whether high-speed rail is here or not. Any questions about high-speed rail at this point? Okay. Oops, went the wrong direction. Just another acknowledgement really quickly before I end the report that we do have community sponsorships available for, we're getting ready to start our basketball program through Junior NBA. Not to be confused with Junior Warriors. We historically ran the Junior Warriors basketball program due to funding efficiencies. With Junior NBA, we decided to change our direction and pivot, no pun intended, to Junior NBA this year, who's been a great partner in supporting us with the transition. It did cause a little bit of confusion for the community who consistently asked, well, when does the Junior Warriors program start? Because we really like that one. It's primarily the same program. This program just offers up more training for our staff for the same cost, and we will have every team in the NBA represented as opposed to just the Golden State Warriors. So with that being said, we do offer community sponsorship opportunities. So if you're an individual, you represent an agency, a business, an organization, and you want your name out there, please feel free to contact myself or our team, and we can see how best we can make that happen for you. Any questions or answers? Commissioner Bauer? Oh, no. You're good? Oh, okay, okay. All right, that's the report. Thank you very much.
We will now continue with agenda item F2, review youth service provider first quarter reports in consideration of their use of city recreational facilities.
So I did want to give the commission a chance to hear from one of our youth service providers, Restorative Justice League. Andre Griggs is the executive director of that organization, and he's here tonight. So Andre's report is in your packet at one of several youth service providers. I did not get photos in time for it, but he has some photos that he can pass around for your review.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, commissioners. Just appreciate the opportunity of again being here to present to you the work we're doing on 27th and K Street. Yeah, if you can. Yeah, I'll get one of those. The work that we're doing on 27th and K Street. So I don't know if the printing came out fully. When I tried to read it, it kept squeezing, so I just reprinted everything for you. So this is our fourth quarter report on 27th and K Central Youth Center. Our organization there is Restorative Justice League. We are a wellness program, social emotional wellness program provided for the community. So this quarter report is from April 1st to June 31st of 2025. And so going through the report as far as the numbers, participant numbers for that end of the quarter, which was end of the end of the school year, we had 10 consistent participants at our site. Outside of the site, we also work closely with the city school districts, which is Tenaya Middle School, Crookshank Middle School, Rivera Middle School, Hoover Middle School, Merced High School, and Sequoia High School. And towards the end of this fourth quarter, we worked with 158 students for those end of the school year months. So total of our days, we operated during that time, 56 days. During the quarter, 8 hours per day, totaling 448 hours total. Our special events, we had an end of the year field trip. As far as our special events, we took the students to the Museum of Tolerance in Torrance, California, and also to the WB Studios. And so that was a very great experience. So we had 19 students, which was made up of middle school students, some of our community students, middle school students, and high school students that attended that trip. So our age group of our students between 6 and 17 years of age, our numbers as far as our, again, consistent site students, 1 African American, 5 Hispanics, 2 white, and 2 mixed students, which total of 10 in the 95340 area. We have employees. Our employees support our wellness center and also our sites that we work with, our school sites, and our ongoing volunteer program through UC Merced Fellows Program. And so as the narrative for our quarter, for this quarter, the Restorative Justice League has seen continued growth and impact across our partnership with Merced City School District, Merced High School District, Sequoia High School, and our RJL Wellness Center located 27th K Street. At the elementary level, RJL will have possible expansion, restorative circles, and social emotional opportunities that will help reduce students' conflicts and build stronger peer relationships. Staff and site lead report noticeable improvement in students' communication and empathy skills through the students that participate within our community wellness center. So these students are students of the Merced Elementary School District that was participating consistently at our wellness center. And We support them in mentoring during their school and at our site. And so staff, we're seeing tremendous noticeable improvements of those students' social emotional wellness, learning, and growth, and also academics. So at the Merced and Sequoia High Schools, RJL facilitated restorative circles and conflict resolution sessions addressing campus climate, accountability, and student leadership. Our high school mentors have modeled positive peer engagement, leading to fewer disciplinary incidents and stronger student and staff relationships. The RJL Wellness Center continues to serve as a vital hub for both youth and adults, offering pathway to wellness sessions and community circles through that focus on healing, emotional regulations, and empowerment. Collaboration with families and community partners has strengthened our outreach and provided wraparound support for participants. Overall, RJL's work this quarter reflects meaningful progress in strengthening school culture, improving relationships, and promoting emotional wellness across the Merced community. As far as any barriers, the Wellness Center faced limited space. The Wellness Center faced limited space and resources constraints as participation increased, leading to the need of expanding staffing and program materials to accommodate larger groups. Despite these barriers, RJL remains proactive in developing solutions, adjusting staff models, increasing communication with school partners, and seeking additional funding and community support to sustain and strengthen our impact. So that is our narrative report, and as you can see, the pictures of work in the community, the school sites that we work with, and also at the center. And then as you can see the bottom right, those were the student participants that attended the field trip in Torrance, California. Is there any questions?
I just, excuse me, I just need to apologize. The report that was passed out tonight, we'll make sure that's included in the minutes. It's different than the one that's in your packet, so I apologize if there was any confusion there, so.
Yeah, it was kind of a printing, so it kept changing the wording on it. I don't think you were able to receive everything that was on here. That's why I reprinted it for you.
We can follow up and just make sure it's the right one. This one just has like one or two sentences on the narrative barrier.
Yeah, okay.
So whichever one was more appropriate, we'll make sure that that's part of the minutes. But for the public record, this one was what was submitted with the agenda. So we'll make sure that that gets included in our minutes for next month.
Okay, apologize for that.
It's good.
Printing.
It's all good. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just for the commission's context, because I know, Ms. Lewis, you're a newer commissioner. The city has about 4 facilities that we have available for public recreation, after-school programs, family services. Mr. Griggs, as well as several other vendors, utilize those facilities to expand their offerings in different neighborhoods. So Andre and his staff are in the 27th and K Street, or what we refer to as the Central Youth Center. It's by John Muir Elementary. And then the other youth service provider quarterly reports are also attached to your packet. So we have the Boys and Girls Club of Merced County at the McCombs Youth Center off of 15th Street. Shared with Mr. Griggs is Challenge Family Resource Center. They utilize the 27th and K Street Youth Center a couple of days a week for parent and me play groups focused on kids with different abilities. And then we have Lifeline CDC, which utilizes the McNamara Youth Center. So their quarterly reports are all attached to your agenda for review. Just as a reminder, last year, we were doing year-to-year contracts or lease service agreements. And then this summer, we brought to the commission and council's attention kind of the drain on resources, the stress that that causes our service providers. So we brought to you a request that council adopted, which was to go to a 3-year guaranteed contract. So unless there's extenuating circumstance and people are just not providing services or they're damaging the building, to where we might come back and ask for canceling the agreement, there is a 3-year threshold with the option to extend 2 additional years. The only anomaly in that situation is the Boys and Girls Club of Merced County. It's a much larger scale building. They have a pretty big operation because they, as well as some of our others, are county-wide. And in light of high-speed rail, we wanted to make sure that they had some secure facility use. So that is a 5-year contract.
Thank you for clarification.
You're welcome.
Agenda item F3, report on grant award from Central Valley Opportunity Fund in an amount not to exceed $27,000 to the city of Merced to fund the replacement of the clock in Bob Hart Square.
So this is just a report item because the city recently adopted a new grant policy where anything under our bid threshold will allow us to consider grants internally, just with the city manager's office. Anything over, I believe the bid threshold right now is $38,000, does require city council approval. But we wanted to bring this to your attention because it's a pretty unique opportunity that was provided to us. The clock that's downtown in front of Bob Hart Square has actually been in downtown since the 1920s. It was originally across the street in front of the historic Mondo building when it was the Bank of Italy. At some point, it was transferred to Bob Hart Square, and it's been there ever since. Part of the original goal of Bob Hart Square's renovation was to keep a lot of the historic amenities like the rails, the clock, the Sternberg lighting. Unfortunately, the light, when it was opened up, was found to be in complete disrepair. The internals didn't even exist. They had been removed. And so we couldn't simply fix the clock that was there. We had to replace it. Unfortunately, the replacement clock is very expensive. And when we were talking about removing it from the project, we had some conversations with several community organizations who stepped up and said, in this case, Central Valley Opportunity Fund, they would like to give up to $27,000 to help replace the clock. The caveat is that the acceptance of this grant isn't a guarantee. What it is a promise that the foundation will match dollar for dollar contributions from the community. So anyone that wants to contribute towards the replacement of that clock can donate towards it. Central Valley Opportunity Fund will create a avenue for those donations to be collected, and their organization will match however much the community contributes towards the replacement of the clock, which will limit the expense on the city's part. This project has hit some unforeseen snags, which is why we usually set a little bit of money aside in case those things happen. It's happened a couple of different occasions, which have led to above and beyond expenses that were planned. And so this contribution is a bit of a relief for us and makes it more of a reality to actually replace the clock. So it's just an information item, but we wanted to let the commission know that this is on the table for council next month. And we will be pursuing community match funding for Central Valley Opportunities commitment to supply us the $27,000 in grant funds. Any questions about that opportunity? No? Okay.
Agenda item G, business. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda.
Any agenda items? None?
Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Any agenda items? None? Okay. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G1, request to add item to future agenda. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G2, commission comments. Agenda item G2, commission comments
Commissioners. Ms. Lewis, put you on the spot.
I'll say, in light of the high-speed rail project that's been going on, I know that there is an upcoming date in November on a Thursday that some people are getting together to go to, be present for the high-speed authorities, decision-making on that project moving forward. If anybody is interested in getting together to kind of rally the support of Merced, let me know, and I'll help you get in contact with the people that are interested in going up there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? None? And we have to vote to adjourn.
Real quick, before adjournment, can we just take a look at the calendar? Because I know typically, the 24th is the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving. Usually November and December, we go into recess as a commission, just because it's typically the week of Thanksgiving and then the week before or between Christmas and New Year's. So I just wanted to take the pulse of the commission. Until the fourth Monday of January.
Yeah. Agenda item H, adjournment.
Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
I second.
All in favor, let's vote yes. Thank you for your time, 6:37. We'll see you in 2 months, 3 months.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Look at you over there, just running the